back to my new YouTube channel. So I've been trying to record this first video for a long time, and I've been doing different intros and like what's the best way to introduce myself. Basically, if you're watching these first few videos, you probably already know who I am. So I'm Jake. I'm a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. I'm a former educator. I was a band director for years, but now I take my educating skills and I am now using them in the form of being a online certified personal trainer. And so basically I help people get healthy and whatever it is that means for them. So some people it's building muscle and getting jacked and getting big. So some people it's leaning out and getting toned. So some people it's just eating in a way that is gonna help them feel better and be healthier. In the way that the world is right now in the nutrition space, it's hard sometimes to figure out exactly what it is you need to do to feel better. And my job is to help figure out what's gonna make you feel better and then simplify it so that you know exactly what you need to do every single day. And so I'm gonna take you into my world. I'm gonna be the client and I'm gonna coach myself on this YouTube channel so you can see what it takes to make an effective transformation. So I currently have made the decision that I need to get leaner. The time that you know that you need to change is when like you look in the mirror and maybe you don't exactly see the best representation of yourself, or maybe you don't feel very good. Like maybe you're having trouble getting up in the morning. You feel lethargic. You don't have the energy to go work out every day. You don't even know what you should do. And when you feel like that, sometimes that's when you got to pull the trigger and say, hey, I need to change. I need to do something. So for me, I know that I'm inflamed. My cheeks are puffy. I've got body fat in areas that I don't want. And I am going to take my time and make sure that I do all the things the right way so that I can get lean and get into better shape. And I'm gonna take you on that journey over the next 16 to 20 weeks. I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it and what I do, and hopefully this can help you out. And if at any point you're like, I need to do this, I need to take my health to the next level, you can message me here on YouTube or go to my social media, which is just at Jake Perales or at Internal Fit, and send me a DM and I'll get you signed up for health coaching. So I'm gonna take you on to my first day of a new program. What does it look like and what do I do first? So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna weigh ourselves. So this is gonna be our starting weigh-in. I think I'm gonna be close to 200 or maybe 199 pounds. 198.7. That's a great starting point. I think for my height and where my muscle mass is right now, I think I wanna be in the mid 170s, maybe even push it farther to 170 or even in the 160s. So that's almost 30 pounds that I need to lose. Don't mind the extra scales here. I tend to lose things and then repurchase them, and that's kind of what happened here. But anyway, 198.7 pounds is a great starting point. And the reason why I want to frame it that way, as it's a great starting point, is because people can get really down about their highest weigh-ins, right? Like I could look at 198 pounds and be like, oh my goodness, I weigh almost 200 pounds. But like, that's not the mindset. The mindset is like, hey, this is where I'm at right now. That's okay, but we're gonna do something about it and we're gonna try to get that number to be lower. So the first thing that we need to address is how much weight should we lose and how quickly? All right, so let's talk about targets. Where do I need to go? You need to know what your destination is first. I want to be around 170 pounds. Why? I know from the history of training and the history of dieting that I feel and look my best around 170 pounds, but I don't know that answer for sure, right? My real goal is to look and feel a certain way, right? I want to be lean to where my abs are showing, but I want to feel energetic and I want to feel healthy and be alert and focused. And that's my overall goal, but I do need a number to shoot for. So weighing about 200 pounds, going all the way down to 170 is a 30-pound loss. And for you, that goal might be slightly different, and that's something that I can help you find so that you have a target to shoot for. But note that the number is not the most important thing, but the numbers are data that we can use to our advantage. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. So now that we have a target, right, we're gonna lose approximately 30 pounds. I have a rate in which I want to lose weight, because when you lose weight, it could be fat and it could be muscle. And my goal to look my best is to lose the fat and retain as much muscle as possible. And we're gonna do that by lifting weights doing cardio. I am going to count my calories and probably even count my macros. And we're gonna do all of those things so that I can drop body fat, but maintain the muscle mass here. So here's what would happen if I didn't maintain my muscle mass, right? Let's say you've got fat, you've got muscle. If everything goes lower, you might be really excited that you're losing a lot of weight on the scale, but you're just gonna look like a smaller version of yourself now. And I don't want to look like a smaller version of myself now. I want to be slimmer where I have fat, and I want to be big where I have muscle, right? That's really what's going to show the biggest difference in your physique. And I think that this type of training, which would be hypertrophy training in the gym, is going to be what most people are going to want as far as results go. So fat, muscle, we want to keep this here, maybe even grow at the same time while the fat gets lower, and that's going to equal a better physique. So for men, typically you want to have a big chest and broad shoulders, right? And then you want your stomach to just be smaller than that. So if you're at a point right now where your stomach pokes out more than your chest, what we want to do is we just want to flip that so that our muscle is big and our fat is smaller. So as soon as you cross that threshold, right, of having a bigger chest and a smaller stomach, like you already are gonna look like you're in such better shape, right? So for a lot of people, that's the first goal. It's like, let's make our chest and shoulders bigger than our stomach. And right now, like my stomach pokes out quite a bit. Like I want that to come in, and I want my chest and shoulders to be the thing that stands out, especially when I wear t-shirts, right? You want the t-shirt to hit your chest and then just kind of fall flat. And then, everybody that looks at you, like they're just gonna assume you have a six pack under there, right? Hopefully. So anyway, that's the goal. That's how I want to look. And I'm gonna achieve that by losing 1 to 1.5 pounds per week. So you might be asking yourself, how the hell am I gonna do that? How am I gonna control losing between 1 and 1.5 pounds per week? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to get measurements. You have to weigh yourself 7 times in the week. Every single morning, as soon as you wake up, after you go to the bathroom, you're gonna get a weigh-in. The reason why you weigh in that particular time of the day is it's gonna be the most consistent, because you're not gonna have any food in your system. You would have already gone to the bathroom and you wouldn't have had a chance for the day to have an effect on your weight. So weigh in first thing in the morning. So you have your data points. Now, the other thing that's super important, like how do I actually control it, is you have to have fixed variables in your programming. So if my program says I have 4 lifting sessions a week, 3 cardio sessions a week, and I have to hit 2,000 calories, then I need to be consistent with that and treat those as fixed variables that don't change, right? Those do not change in your 7-day period. Those variables need to be consistent so that my weigh-ins have a better chance of being accurate. So that's the first step, and that's how we're gonna control it. So now, how do I choose how much food I'm gonna eat? So let's say, I'm making up numbers here, I'll show you my real numbers later. Let's say that I need 2,500 calories to maintain my current weight. Well, if I drop it too low, let's say I drop it to like 1,500 calories. That's a 1,000 calorie difference. That's a huge difference. If you have that big of a gap between where your metabolism's at, right, to maintain your current weight, and then like what you're actually achieving, you're gonna lose a lot of weight really quickly, and your body's gonna have no choice but to take away fat and muscle, and you're gonna lose weight really quickly, which is like, you might think it's a good thing, but like I said before, you're going to be losing fat and muscle. What I wanna do is I wanna eat as much food as I possibly can while still being in a deficit. So rather than eating 1,500 when I should be eating 2,500 to maintain, I'm gonna keep this higher to maybe around 2,300, 2,200, 21, maybe 2,000, so that there's a small gap here and my body has a better chance of retaining muscle mass. So don't give yourself this huge gap. And one, the bigger this gap is, the more miserable you're gonna be, right? If you have a huge caloric deficit, you're gonna be lethargic, you're gonna lose energy, you're not gonna feel very motivated. But if you're closer to if this gap is smaller, you're gonna feel a lot healthier and you're gonna be able to sustain this type of a program a lot longer. And that is only gonna be better for your health, better for your results. So that is how we control losing 1 to 1.5 pounds per week. consistent variables in your programming. So your exercise, cardio, and calories need to all be consistent throughout a weekly period. Make sure you take all of your measurements and make sure that your goal is not so extreme that your body just eats itself, right? You need to give yourself enough food to still lose weight and be comfortably healthy and have an enjoyable experience. I can tell you from experience, when I've had a super large deficit, it's miserable. Like, it's not fun to do, and I wouldn't suggest or coach anybody to do that. I would suggest your calories be as high as you can while still being in a deficit. Preferably 1 to 1.5 pounds of weight lost per week. That's gonna keep your muscle and it's gonna lose fat. Okay, so now that I have you convinced that you need to lose between 1 and 1.5 pounds per week, we're gonna talk about exactly what program we should do to do that. We're gonna use myself as an example. We're going to have a hypertrophy gym training program. That's the first priority. Hypertrophy just means you're training for muscle size. And then the second thing is we're gonna have a cardio protocol. So we need to make sure that our cardiovascular system is healthy, we have a healthy heart, and it's gonna help us burn additional calories, additional fat calories. And then I'm gonna count my macronutrients, which are my carbs, my fats, and my protein. We'll get into more details about the roles that each of these plays. But first, I'm gonna show you what my numbers are. So here are some basic numbers to start my programming. So I am assuming that I need about 2,700 calories to maintain my weight. Now, I don't exactly know what the answer is. It's just gonna be trial and error over a couple weeks to see what the data shows, specifically my weigh-ins. So we're just gonna assume that it's 2,700 calories to maintain. And then I'm gonna drop 400 calories and make this my calorie deficit goal. So now, how does this break down into carbs, fats, and protein? Well, first, I want my protein to be approximately 1 pound per my ideal body weight, which we talked about being 170, and I just go 10 grams above that just to give me an extra bit of muscle retention. So I've reached 180 grams of protein. For fats, I like to keep it around 65. I'll go into more details about why I like keeping it in the 60s range and I don't drop it much lower than that. But we'll talk about that later. And then carbs, everything that's left over will be carbs, which is 250 grams. And the way that I put all this together, I can go about in a different video. But basically, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, and 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. So if I calculate all of this, my protein is gonna take up 720 calories of the 23. My fat will be 585 calories of the 2,300, and my carbs will be 1,000 calories of the 2,300. If you add all these together, you get 2,305 calories. I've just made the numbers a little bit easier to understand, so I didn't write the 5 here, but this is the calorie and macronutrient breakdown for me. For you, it's gonna be completely different, so don't directly copy these macros. This is specific to my size, my current muscle mass, and this is for my specific goals. And then I'm gonna do a hypertrophy program where I'm gonna lift 4 times per week and I'm gonna do cardio 5 times per week. Now, we're gonna get into specifics about everything that's written here. We're gonna talk exactly what type of lifts I'm gonna be doing, what my split is. We're gonna talk exactly what type of cardio it is that I'm gonna do to reach my goals. And then there are some other things that we're gonna fill this page out with later. We're gonna talk about a mobility program, and then we're gonna go into real depth about nutrition. We haven't even talked about food quality yet, which is going to be really the most important thing of my programming, is the quality of food that I eat, but that's for a different video. This is my general breakdown of what I'm going to be starting my program with. All right, let's get into some details about this workout. So this is an upper body workout and it's designed for hypertrophy. So there are different ways you can lift. One of the ways is for strength, and that's gonna be lower rep range, right? So your body is amazing at adapting to its environment. So if I lift something really heavy one time and I practice that over and over and over, your body's gonna get really good at lifting that one heavy thing one time over and over and over. That's really focused on strength, right? How much can you lift one time? If I work on endurance, if I run for a very long period of time, your body's going to adapt and it's going to get really good at being efficient and making sure that you can run for a very long time. Well, they found through bodybuilding that if you lift in the like 8 to 12 rep range, it actually triggers hypertrophy, which is muscle size, right? Compared to strength, compared to endurance. Now, there's some overlap. You're going to get stronger. You're going to build endurance, but primarily in that 8 to 12 rep range, you are going to build muscle size. And that's what hypertrophy training is. So all the movements that you're going to see me do in this workout are going to be in that 8 to 12 rep range. So I might be doing 3 sets of 10 to 12. And if I do that, I'm going to be triggering muscle size and hypertrophy. So that's what hypertrophy is. So if you hear somebody talk about bodybuilding or bodybuilding training, you can just trade that word out for hypertrophy. I think for most people, hypertrophy training is where you want to be. And I try to use the word hypertrophy versus bodybuilding. I think when people hear the word bodybuilding, they think that they're going to get really big and jacked, right? It's a very common comment or concern when I sign clients on. They're like, I don't want to get bulky. What my answer to them is that, like, we're going to put you closer to a caloric deficit, right? If their goal is fat loss. And when you do that, like, you're not going to be able to get bulky. Getting bulky is very, very hard to do. You have to eat a lot of food. Those guys and ladies who are like, have a lot of muscle and they're really big, it takes them a long time and a lot of work to get there. And so you do not need to be afraid of getting bulky. I think the look that people describe typically to me that they want to look like at the end of a transformation is lean and toned. And the word toned means that you have a lower body fat percentage, but you have some muscle mass there, right? And so that's the goal, is to look toned. This is why we want to lift, because we want to have that muscle there, but you don't have to worry about getting bulky. That's very difficult to do. Everything that you're going to see me do here is specifically for hypertrophy and growing the muscle. And back to like my original point of the program is I want muscle size. So I want to maintain all the muscle size that I have while I'm losing fat, so that I get bigger in the places I want to get bigger, and then I get smaller in the places that I want to get smaller. Okay, so let's wrap this thing up. So my program is a 16 to 20 week cut. A cut means that I am trying to lose mass. I'm doing it for 16 to 20 weeks because at a 1 to 1.5 pounds per week, that's gonna leave me between 25 and 30 pounds-ish. Some weeks I'm gonna lose a little bit more than that. Some weeks I'm gonna lose a little bit less. So that's why I'm doing a cut for 16 to 20 weeks, which is a pretty long time. The first part of the program, the main course, is my hypertrophy 4-day-a-week gym training program. So that is going to help me maintain or build my muscle mass while losing fat. The second thing is going to be cardio. So cardio is just going to be treated as a tool to help me burn additional calories throughout the week, and it's going to help improve my cardiovascular system. The third thing is counting macros. So counting macros is not a diet. It's not like a way of eating. It's just a tool to make sure that I am eating the right amount of food for my goal. And then the fourth thing is going to be my nutrition. We have not talked about that yet. That's actually going to be the topic of the second video, is everything nutrition, exactly what I'm going to eat to be and feel healthy, and how I would suggest people generally should eat if they want to live a healthy life. So if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. If you found some value, please tell me about it. Leave a comment below. A like would help me out a lot as I'm starting to grow this channel. And if you subscribe, you can expect to see uploads every 1 to 2 weeks covering all things health, fitness, and nutrition. And the last thing that I'll leave you with is it's okay to be wherever you are right now. If you have more body fat than you'd like to have, if you're not active, if you feel a little bit immobile, like all of that is okay. Like, be okay with your starting point. And then if you're wanting change, or you feel like you're complaining often about how you feel or how you look, there is a path to improvement, and it's a lot easier than you think. And my goal through these videos is to show you how easy it can be. Now, it will be difficult at times, but it can be easy. Right now, I'm at the beginning of my transformation. I've never filmed myself at the beginning of a transformation. And so my body fat percentage is not where I would like it to be. My beard is a little unkempt. I'm wearing a hat. I've got a sty in my eye right now. But like, if I can film myself at my worst, like, you can go to the gym and feel confident however it is that you look right now. I appreciate you again for watching, and I hope that you enjoy this YouTube series. See you in the next one.